everybody. Cal Banyan, Cal Banyan's Hypnosis, etc. Once again with the lovely, intelligent, flamboyant Meredith Locker. If you're watching this video anywhere except calbanyan.com, you want to go there right now because right below this video is texts. Right below this video is links and also graphics that just make this podcast, this video, and all the other 244 videos that just more valuable for you. Hey, do me a favor, if you appreciate what we're doing, pass it on to your hypno friends and colleagues and tell them about facebook.com/hypnosis etc. That means hypnosis, etc., the name of the show, and tell them about this. We're just about ready to hit 800 people on that, quote, fan page, business page over there. And we just want to let the whole world know about this huge bunch of free but very valuable hypnosis training material. And now, let me just tell you real quick about Meredith Locker. Meredith Locker is among the best of the best in the profession, a true hypno 1%er. By that I mean in the top 1% of all hypnotists and hypnotherapists around the world. She is a master. She not only teaches, like right here, she also is writing a book, and she sees clients day in and day out, and her clients love her and refer people to her. And as a matter of fact, if I had a friend or family member in the Los Angeles area, I would definitely say, you got to go see Meredith because she's fantastic. She's a recovering talk therapist, totally given it up, abstaining from talk therapy, now doing hypnotherapy full time. Hey, Meredith, how you doing?
Hi, Cal. Good. How are you? Happy almost Halloween.
Hey, I'm feeling spooky.
So I'm not sure if you guys know who Cal is. Actually, Cal is someone that I have sent family to, and will probably continue to do so because, you know, we always have someone in our family that can use some 5-path. I can think of quite a few just off the top of my head.
If you've got family, you need 5-path. That's basically the rule there.
If you know a person, anyone, even if they're not family, they need 5-path. That's for sure. And Cal sees clients here at the Banyan Hypnosis Center in Tustin, California, and he also teaches classes. He is just one of the busiest men I have ever met. He is the one that brought us 5-path. He brought us 7th path self-hypnosis. He teaches the best of the best to those hypno 1%ers, and he just continues to just teach more and more of us, get us out there into the world so that we can clean this place up, huh, Cal?
I believe it completely and totally.
Yes. Good. So, Cal, do you have any announcements?
Oh, gosh. You know, it's the usual announcements. I want to see you in class. Go to hypnosiscenter.com or hypnosis.org. Our schedule's there. We got tons of also free training articles and stuff like that there. We've got our schedule right there on the website. And, gosh, if you're thinking about taking my course, you got to register early. You can save hundreds and hundreds of dollars if you will register early. And, you know, if you're watching this video, I mean, a year or 2 years or 3 years after it's been published, that's okay. Go to hypnosiscenter.com or hypnosis.org, O-R-G, and the latest schedule will be there until at least the year 2525. Well, maybe not that long. I'm done.
Beautiful. Well, we're going to get into some more, different hypnotherapist questions today, and we want more. We want more topic ideas. We want more feedback. We want more questions. Please send them in. You can email them directly to me at Meredith at yourpathhypnosis.com. You can post them down there in the feedback box. It's so easy. You watch this podcast on calbanyan.com, and then you just scroll down a little bit and post your feedback or post your question. It can be a question about a podcast you just watched. If we were clear as mud and you need more clarity, ask your question. If it brings up a new topic idea or a question that you keep forgetting to ask, just post it right then and there. I check that every single time I go to do these podcasts. And you can also post on Ask Cal on ourhypnospace.com. And just so many ways to get those questions to us, but we're definitely wanting to answer your questions, wanting to help you become the best of the best if you aren't already, and if you are, get you even better. So this particular question...
Wait!
Oh!
Meredith, I want to put in a request.
Yes.
The last couple of podcasts have been kind of complicated. I'd like to do something that, I don't know what you're going to ask me, but let's try to do at least one question that's kind of not so complicated, because I think some of the people, their head is swimming with all the kind of technical stuff we did. Maybe something that's more general and not so five-pathy.
Well, I kind of really wanted to get this question in, and it was a question that was submitted directly by a five-pather.
Okay, but then you got to give me an easy one.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
What can I say, Cal? I'm a complicated girl.
I'm used to that. I'm surrounded by complicated women.
Yes, you are. Maureen may actually have me beat. And no, I'm not Cal's girlfriend, by the way, everybody out there who always thinks that. He does have a wife, and her name is Maureen, and she is more complicated than me. So good. We have a fabulous five-pather. His name is Rob, and he sent in a question when I was asking for what-if questions a little while ago, and I just realized we didn't get to this one. And so what he wants to know is, when you're doing parts work, which in five-path, we basically split our client into two different parts in many of the phases, and pretty much all of the phases, really. So in age regression, they may be the grown-up and the little one, and in forgiveness of others, they may be, the self and the offender, and in forgiveness of self, they may be the self and then the part of themselves that offended them. And then in parts mediation, of course, we split them into parts there because it's part mediation. But there's always these parts, and so he wants to know, what if the client says, now, who am I supposed to be now? And so I think he's a little concerned, okay, so because this could mean a lot of things, couldn't it, Cal?
Well, yeah. You know what? The very simple answer to this is, tell them they're going to be whatever part you need them to be at that moment. So, like, if they're confused in age regression, and I'm working with, like, the 5-year-old aspect of themselves and the adult, and they get confused and say, who am I now? I'll just say, be grown up, or I'll say, be 5, and then continue along. If I'm doing forgiveness of others and they're confused whether they are the offender or themselves, and they say, wait a second, who am I right now? I'll say, be mom, the offender, to carry on the example from the previous episode. If they're working with forgiveness of self, there is the mistake-making part, who becomes the protective part in the process as they gain insight, and the self. And I will just tell them whoever I need them to be. And the same with the parts mediation. We have the part that wants to continue in the old way. For example, the still wanting to eat too much part, or the still wanting to react badly to whatever situation part, and the self. And if they get confused, I just say, be the self, and I instruct them to be whatever part I want to be working with at that moment. That was easy.
See, that was easy. Maybe I'm not so complicated, Cal.
Oh, yes, you are.
Okay, see, now I'm not sure what you think is easy, but we'll see. So in our five-path group, and now this isn't pertinent only to five-pathers here, I don't think. We'll see what you have to say. But in our five-path group, there's been a question posted about working with clients who have 100+ pounds to lose. And this hypnotist seems to have some reservations about that, and is asking, should I take these clients? And I think particularly the concern is clients that have 100+ pounds to lose who do not want to exercise or change diet. So of course that's a big caveat there, right? So first of all, working with someone that has 100 pounds to lose or more, would there be any reason to not take them, Cal?
You know what? I've been blabbering all along. I'm going to let you kind of start this one off.
Okay. So...
Because eating disorders used to be your specialty as talk therapist, right?
Yeah.
So let's go for it.
Yeah. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really make a difference how many pounds the person has to lose. If they have some sort of a severe medical condition because of their extra weight, then I would certainly want them to be under the care of a physician, and I would, want a referral from a doctor. I would at least want the doctor to confirm that they don't feel hypnosis would be any way problematic for the client, and make sure that that they're going to be in good enough health to be able to handle a basic hypnosis process. But to me, the amount of weight that they have to lose really is not that big of an issue. Now, when you get into a client who is refusing to make any changes, that's kind of a different issue. But what I find is that resistance tends to start to melt away when I start to work with them. Now, if that client just says, I hate exercise, and I have to tell you, I just don't see myself doing it and I don't want to do it. Well, that's okay, because in truth, we can make a difference for that client. First of all, they may think exercise is one particular thing. Maybe they think exercise is going to the gym and lifting those weights and, or taking those classes, and that's something they're really against. Maybe they are kind of an extreme thinker, which a lot of people with eating issues can be very black and white thinkers, and maybe they think, if I exercise, I have to be one of those, those people who run marathons and go to the extreme. Maybe they don't realize that just a walk here and there is exercise and certainly counts and will make a difference. So there's a lot to it, a lot that would be important to find out, most of which you would find out in your first session when you're doing your intake, and getting a feel for what they have done, what they would be willing to do, what they do define exercise as, and figuring out where your window would be. But in truth, people lose weight without exercise all the time, and they do lose weight with exercise without modifying their diet a huge amount all the time. And sometimes there is an emotional block to losing the weight, and their diet actually isn't that bad. Sometimes they're really holding on to the weight as protection, psychological protection, and when you start doing the work with them, then their need for that protection starts to go away, and even if they're not eating that differently, the weight just starts to go off. So there's a lot to it. I certainly, with working with somebody that's got that much weight to lose, I would probably want to quote them a little bit more to be able to give them continued support. As far as sessions go, I typically tell people that on average a process for a single issue takes about 5 sessions, and maybe somebody who has that much weight to lose, I would want to say, you might want to commit to a little bit more than that. Maybe we'd stretch out sessions after our initial phase, but that way I give you ongoing support throughout your process. Because food can be a challenging issue. Societally, food is so heavily charged, and there's actually a lot of pressure to overeat in the world and to do different things that can go against a weight loss plan. So I kind of threw a lot out there. Cal, any comments, any disagreements, anything you want to add?
I completely agree with all that stuff, and I'd like to add that I think it is even more important that you help people who are 100 pounds overweight. I mean, and in the past we've done special reach out programs to try to encourage people who are 100 pounds or more overweight. I mean, this is a real life-threatening condition to carry that much weight. I mean, diabetes and hypertension and high blood pressure, and it just goes on and on and on, all the problems that can happen. And not only does it affect longevity of life, every day it kills a little bit of that person's life. It's just it's harder to get out of bed, it's harder to do everything, it's harder to enjoy yourself. It affects relationships and everything. So I want to encourage hypnotists to do everything that Meredith just said, but really reach out to people who are in that range, because you know what? They are so frustrated, and because they've tried so many different things. So reach out to them. And I want to also reiterate what Meredith was saying with regard to one of the things we will do is, as we go through our series of sessions, and it might be 4, 5, 6 sessions, whatever it is for that individual, to really get at the underlying cause. It's really, one of the things I'll do is I say, look, you look like you're doing great. I anticipate you're going to continue doing great, but I want to be there for you as much as you need me to, in case some issue comes up. And sometimes it's just nice to have the accountability. What I want to do is I want you to decide right now, and like this is the last session, we think everything is going fine, is I say, I'd like you to decide in your heart of hearts whether you would like to have a tentative appointment set up for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a month from now. Now here's the deal with this tentative appointment. It's a real appointment, but if you feel like you don't need it, and it is at least 48 hours notice, 2 business days, you can reschedule it. but because there's something about having that accountability in the future. And also having that appointment that they don't have to schedule. It's there by default. If they do nothing, then the appointment is scheduled. So for example, the first time we would have the subsequent appointment, let's say the individual says, let's schedule one for 2 weeks from now. As they get closer and closer to that appointment, they could say, you know what, I really don't think I'm going to need it. I'm doing it fine. And then they would just call and reschedule like 2 weeks further down the road. And there's just something about having that appointment there if they need it, that gives them that kind of feeling of accountability and support. But if they get into trouble and they're saying, you know, I'm having a little bit of problem here, some unexpected challenges, or maybe another issue that hasn't been covered yet starts to raise its ugly head, because sometimes hypnotherapy is like peeling the onion, and we got to go through many layers of issues to get through all the layers of the weight that they're carrying on themselves. So then they don't have to do anything. The appointment as scheduled comes about, and we can have the appointment. As they continue to do better and better, they might decide, well, my tentative appointment, I don't want it to be 2 weeks from now. I'd like it to be a month from now. And just having that out there as a form of support. Now, you got to make sure they understand that this is a real appointment, and they can't, not show for it, or they will be charged. That's our policy for no-shows. And if they also need to give whatever, for us we need 48 hours or 2 business days notice to reschedule or to cancel. So it is a good way to be there for them as much as they need, and this is particularly going to be an issue when you're working with even 30 pounds or more. So there you go. Anything else, Meredith?
Yeah, good. Yeah, well, and I think, so often you, Cal, say that it's really a good idea not to believe the client in so many ways, such as when the client tells you why they think they have the problem, tells you when they think the problem started or why it started, that often we find in age regression that it's started way earlier, or that it was because of a completely different cause. And it's kind of the same thing when someone tells you, I'm not willing to change the way I eat. That's really a fear-based assertion on on behalf of the client, saying, food has been my distractor, it's been my security blanket, and it's scary for me to give that up. But I do want to lose weight, I do want health, I want all the benefits of being thinner, but I'm not willing to give up this distractor. But as 5-pathers and a lot of non-5-pathers, if you're doing work that is resolving those fears inside and all of those other emotions inside that have been driving the client to overeat, then no matter what they said when they first called you, they are going to be able to give up that distractor. They are going to be able to get to the point where they want to make healthier choices. When they start to, feel lighter and freer, and they've resolved these old emotions from the past that are not based in reality, and when they start to feel better about themselves because we've done work to help them to feel that they are lovable and worthy, they get to the point where they do want to put healthier food in their body and don't quite need that security blanket anymore. So it would surprise people to know that very often clients come in saying, I absolutely won't give this up, and then they do.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And I was listening to you very carefully, and in your verbiage you said that they were afraid how they would get along without that ability to do the distractor of eating too much. And so they've given you a clue accidentally that there is an emotional component to their desire to not give up the overeating. So and that is fear. I'm afraid that I wouldn't be able to manage or whatever. So you can work on the desire to not exercise or the desire to not change their diet as part of the process. Excellent. Good job.
Beautiful. And I know there are lots of people doing these lap band, hypnosis procedures now. I'm not trained that way, and I don't really know what those entail, but I know that they are getting some success too, and my preference is to do it the 5-path way. But there are many, many ways to really help these obese people, and gosh, we're doing them such a service when we do. And I don't really know why this particular hypnotherapist got this idea, but his last question is also, isn't hypnosis only good for moderate weight loss? Do you have any idea where he would have gotten that idea, Cal?
Yeah, two things I talk about there. One is a moderate weight loss thing, and then also you talked about using other procedures. Now, like the example with, I'm not exactly sure of the wording, I hear it buzzed around all the time. And in fact, I know at least 1 or 2 or 3 of our 5-pathers are using this hypno band type thing. And what that really is a direct suggestion procedure. And I'm not going to get into the details of that because I don't know it well enough. But they can do 5-path and then use these other techniques, such as visualization techniques and direct suggestion techniques, to fulfill the direct suggestion component of the 5-path work we do with the age regression and parts work and that kind of stuff. Now, the moderate weight loss, and what it is people who work exclusively in the realm of direct suggestion hypnosis, when they have positive results, it tends to work best with just moderate weight loss. If you're going to get into these greater poundages, then you really need to get after some fundamental issues of what's going on. And it's probably been going on a long, long time, because people who are 100 pounds and more overweight, that doesn't start when they're 65 years old. That's a lifelong challenge, and you need to go in there and fix that up. All right, how are we doing on time?
Good. We were really out of time. I just have a couple more comments about that, and then we're going to wrap it up. I like to have an arsenal of support players, support members, professionals to refer lots of my different clients to, because I am not trained in, or licensed in nutrition per se. I know a lot about it, but I'm not really qualified to give nutritional advice. And so there are some clients who can afford a nutritionist and who don't have enough knowledge about proper ways to eat, that would be what's best for them. And so I like to have those people in my immediate area that I can refer to, a doctor per se that has special knowledge in working with clients in their weight loss procedures and in the way that they will maybe measure certain things or test for certain things or work with thyroid issues, so that all of that medical stuff can kind of be checked out, and we can make sure that we don't have a medical issue getting in our way from being successful. And so if they are willing and can afford it, I make sure I refer them to these doctors. And then I also have some more holistic practitioners that are complementary services that can help with some of those things too. Some people will do acupuncture, and sometimes that kind of thing is really beneficial as a complementary practice. And then of course having personal trainers, the clients that are willing to work out or maybe won't work out on their own but would work out with a trainer. I like to have a variety of trainers at different price points, and who do different kinds of training available to be able to refer my clients to. And then certainly for those of you that for some reason just don't feel capable of or interested in working with someone at the higher weight level, then you have other hypnotherapists that you can refer those clients to, because we certainly would rather be able to help them than not help them at all. So those are my final $2 or $3 or $10. Anything else, Cal?
You know what? All that is just great. And when you involve other professionals in the work you do, it increases the probability you're going to get referrals from them too. All right, wrap it up.
Great. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We definitely want your feedback, your questions, your topic suggestions. So do send those in to us. This is Meredith Locker signing up.
All right. I hope to see you in class. And if this goes out on Halloween or the weekend, the day before the weekend, have a wonderful spooky night. Have fun. And this is Cal Banyan signing off.
This recording is the property of Cal Banyan and Cal Banyan's Banyan Publishing Incorporated. All rights reserved for private use only. May not be duplicated without written permission.